It is time now for Tuesdays with Tiki as we welcome in Tiki Barber. And Tiki, back in September, as soon as Aaron Rodgers got hurt, there was plenty of talk among fans and media that the Jets should go get Carson Wentz, Nick Foles. Even your broadcast partner Matt Ryan's name was floated. Instead, they picked up Trevor Siemian with really no intention of playing him. Now, in complete hindsight, how big of a mistake was that thought process?
I think not signing a quality backup quarterback, which, by the way, is a problem all across the league with the plague of injuries that have happened to starting quarterbacks, was probably Joe Douglas's biggest mistake this offseason. We know that Zach was one of their projects, and they thought that they could groom him under Aaron Rodgers by just sitting and watching. But ultimately, when he was forced to play, I think we're still seeing the same Zach Wilson that we saw from the previous two seasons, and that's one who just can't quite get things started. He works hard, he grinds at it, but ultimately, if you wanted to win and fulfill the expectation that everybody had, you needed someone who had more experience and could easily jump into a starting role and provide some competency, and Zach just couldn't do it.
Now, I don't think anyone is going to argue that the Jets shouldn't have benched Wilson this week, but that's not going to help a depleted offensive line and basically a one-man receiving core. So how does now an historically bad offense all of a sudden get going against the Dolphins?
Yeah, you hear Robert Saleh and I guess Nate Hackett as well talking about being younger. That's why Israel Abanikanda was up, and after they cut Michael Carter. I think the easy answer is to just keep the ball in your possession, but that's converting on third down, which they are historically bad at this season. A lot of that is just because of execution and sacks. You talk about a beat-up offensive line. Carter Warren, who's a rookie, is likely to start at left tackle, and Max Mitchell has struggled all season long, so it doesn't get any easier. I've always clamored at Nate to diversify his run game, do different things, do those scissors and misdirections and gap schemes, and make it not as straightforward, because it gives you a chance to at least stay regular and have success rates on first and second down, so that third down is not third and long. You don't get those penalties that put you behind the chains and force you to punt on 3 and out. So I think ultimately it's keeping themselves on the field. But the only way to do that is if you get more diverse and more variable in your run game.
Yes, a third down conversion every now and then would be helpful as well. All right, earlier in the show, we heard from Aaron Rodgers, and it looks like December 24th still being floated out there as a potential return date. Now, as a former athlete, clue me in on the motivation for him to rush a return to this team in this state.
I don't think there is motivation to rush to this team unless they somehow find a way with a spark with Tim Boyle playing to win a couple of games before December gets here. And once he gets activated, he'll have 21 days, or once he comes back to practice, he'll have 21 days to be activated. So that puts it around, the December 24th timeframe. But if they're out of it at that point, to me, it doesn't make sense. I know in some regards, and Evan Roberts on our show was talking about this, I just want to see him. I need to see if it's going to work at least one time this year. But to me, that just risks injury and puts you behind the 8 ball if he should get hurt again. But for him, for Aaron Rodgers himself, I think it's a professional pride thing. I think it's a personal pride thing. He wants to prove that he can do something that no player has ever done, which is come back from an Achilles surgery in less than 4 months. And it would be astonishing if he did, but I don't think it's helping where the Jets are going right now.
Easy for Evan Roberts to say. Maybe he should stand behind this offensive line on December 24th. Tiki Barber, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.
Thank you, Eamon.